Hello and welcome to this episode of the CCN podcast. I'm your host, Paul Medor. Today is Friday, June 26, 2015. The price of Bitcoin is on a stable plane, resting at around $240. Is stability becoming the rule in Bitcoin rather than the exception? That, my friend, we may never know. In any case, on this episode, I've got an extended interview with one Evan Duffield, the inventor of Darkcoin and now the lead developer of Dash, which is the same thing, just rebranded, if you missed that. In it, we talk about the block size debate, what really sets the Dash project apart, and what the future of cryptocurrency could look like. Never mind those Bitcoin maximalists now. We're crypto coins news, not Bitcoin news, and that means there's room for everyone trying to liberate money from the clutches of the bankers and politicians. On with it, then. Here's myself and Evan Duffield, recorded the other day in an almost unbearable Arkansas heat. So I'm on the line with Evan Duffield. Hi, Evan. It's a great pleasure to have you today.
Hi, it's great to be here.
As listeners are probably aware, you were the progenitor of Darkcoin, which later became Dash. It's one of the leading contenders for, I guess the crown of the cryptocurrency scene. And I'm kind of interested to know, what you did prior to launching Darkcoin.
Well, prior to launching Darkcoin, I've worked as a software engineer pretty much my whole adult life. I started programming when I was 15. It's always been a passion of mine. More recently, I've been working with companies doing social marketing. I was writing the back end for large web crawlers and trying to build basically the same engine that Google uses to rank websites. And then we were using that to rank our clients, like Fortune 500 clients and Fortune 100 clients. So that's what I was doing before. And I was using lots of machine learning techniques and things like that to have an edge. And I got interested in crypto in I'd say mid 2010, and it just captivated me. So I started following along, and then I realized there was an issue with privacy, and that's what led to the creation of Darkcoin originally.
Okay, and so then Darkcoin, which wasn't meant to be a nefarious label, I'm aware. Then it had sort of an existential crisis where you guys said, we can't be Darkcoin anymore. We need to rebrand. And it seems, I was watching the market at that time, and it seems like the market really agreed with the decision. You didn't see a mass exodus or a serious tanking of the price. So congratulations on that. But, how would you say that just regular Dash development is going now?
It's going great. We did successfully rebrand the currency, which was a relief. Darkcoin wasn't actually intended to be a nefarious coin, and by the name Darkcoin, I was originally thinking, the blockchain is hidden, and that's really all that it meant to me. But to the average person, it apparently meant crime, and
Right.
it was unfortunate, and we had to do something about it. So we acted quickly, and things are actually working out really well with that. And so we're moving on. And the next thing that we've been really working on behind the scenes right now is what we're calling the V12 release, which includes the decentralized budgeting, and it includes the removal of the reference node, which has been a huge issue for Dash and Darkcoin since the very beginning. So we're really excited about both of those projects.
Okay, so tell me about why the reference node needs to go away, or to someone that maybe isn't deeply familiar with Darkcoin or Dash and how the system works.
So Dash includes a variety of features that aren't included in the Bitcoin project. One of them is anonymity, and the anonymity comes from things called masternodes. And these masternodes can be ran by anyone on the network, and they basically run a full node, and you can connect to any of these, and you can make transactions that obfuscate the blockchain. And in return for providing the service and providing other services to the network, like syncing clients and things like that, you are paid part of the blockchain reward. And to do that originally, because it's really difficult to do it in a completely decentralized way, we had one node that was coordinating who gets paid next so that all of the nodes on the network would get paid an equal amount. And this was known as the reference node. So we've figured out a way to remove that node and to still have the same quality of payments.
I imagine
And
that was a point of contention amongst people to say that maybe the reference node could be compromised or something. Probably came up a lot.
yeah, in the spirit of crypto, you don't want anything centralized. So the goal has always been to remove it eventually, and it was really just a temporary solution. So we're actually finally to the point where we're able to remove it, which is great.
So the reason we're here to talk today is, like you said, you mentioned already, you've got now a decentralized governance, basically a new voting system that enables these master nodes, which, like you said, anyone can become a master node, to vote on important changes in the development process. And I guess we may as well not hide it. What we're talking about here is sort of the problem that Bitcoin is facing, where the whole community seems almost paralyzed over this question of, can we raise the block limit? And there seems to be it's almost ideological, in the arguments for and against. But Dash will have now has a simple mechanism to sort of get around that, and I guess you should tell us about that.
Well, so there's two aspects to the decentralized governance proposal. And one of them is basically what you alluded to, is these masternodes get a vote, and they can vote yes or no on any proposal. So you could do a proposal to increase the block reward, or you could do a proposal to increase the block size, or anything really. And then you could gauge the support of the community in a way that you can't tamper with and is pretty final. And so by utilizing this logic, we've also included what we're calling the decentralized budgeting. What we're really trying to solve is the funding mechanism of crypto. And there's been only a couple ways that it's been done to this point. One of them is by using a foundation, a not-for-profit. These have been underfunded, and in my opinion, they've done pretty poorly at doing their job. And so what we're trying to do is build something where the masternodes can vote on proposals, and you can think of this like a decentralized Kickstarter. And the masternodes are kind of like senators. And so there's proposals that come before them, and they vote each yes or no with their vote. And then the votes are tallied. The proposals with the most support, the most votes, the most yes votes specifically, will get paid first. And then the budget will be filled out from the most support to the least until it runs out of money. And then all of these proposals will be paid directly out of the blockchain.
Now, these projects and proposals, say I don't own a master node, but I have a great idea. So can I take it to someone with a master node and they can propose it, or I can propose it without having a master node? I guess I'm confused on that.
So the whole system's completely decentralized, which means that it's all done from within the protocol itself. So if you have access to a node, and you have to have access to a master node to actually submit the proposal, the way this basically works is you submit the proposal to the network, and then it shows up all over the network, and then anyone can vote for it. So yes, you need a master node to vote, but we're going to make available a piece of software, and we're going to run one of these, and it's going to look like a decentralized Kickstarter, where anyone, even without a master node, can come over to the site, make an account, and then they can fill out all the required information for the proposal, and then submit it to the community. and then you can get feedback, and you'll get votes from the masternodes to see how much support there is, and you could iterate the design until you get enough support to actually get it funded.
You've said before, not to me, but you said to someone else that you intend to challenge Bitcoin directly. And is this one of the ways you're doing it, sort of by removing the need to have yourself or any sort of directorate, and creating a system where the many people that are interested in Dash are able to suggest ideas for the future, and then the people with the most holdings kind of, who knows if the largest holders actually own masternodes or not, but they have the ability to decide to fund projects that will, advance Dash.
Well, so the way I see it is, Bitcoin basically has a monopoly on crypto currently. And I don't think that their strategy of the way that they want to run Bitcoin is the only legitimate way to run a crypto. And we need more ideas in crypto. And I think we need a healthy market of ideas. So I wanted to make Dash and show that there are other ways to do things that work, and they'll work really, really well. And one of those ways is to leverage the blockchain technology and to use this like the decentralized Kickstarter, and to fund all of these things within the ecosystem to support itself. And it's better than taking grant money to pay developers, or getting the money through the foundation and paying developers, or anything like that.
Right. I would say that the one thing that Bitcoin Foundation has succeeded at is a centralized place for people to be angry at.
Yeah, it seems like.
I mean, it's kind of like in a regulatory sense, it's been useless. It didn't do anything to stop the bit license.
One of the biggest issues with crypto is that people have a huge incentive to get involved in projects when they're really young, because the crypto itself is very cheap. And if you put in some effort, you'll make returns on your investment really easily. And as we've seen with Bitcoin and a lot of these other cryptos, the generation after that, the second and third and fourth generation, those people, their only incentive in getting aboard is buying so that they can sell at a higher price, or buying, and then they're not benefiting themselves from supporting it long term.
So how is Dash addressing this problem? That's a very obvious problem. The first mover advantage is extreme in Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency, really. So what are you alluding to the fact that Dash is somehow going to solve this problem?
It's not necessarily the first mover issue. It's the fact that if you get involved in any crypto, even Bitcoin currently, there's no financial incentive. Like if I was working on the project full time, I wouldn't get paid until I was supported by either grant money or by the foundation, which is pretty much non-existent now. So the way that Dash intends to solve this is with the budgeting system. Anyone can get involved at any time in the project's life cycle and earn money. So if you had an idea for advertising and you had some skill with advertising, you could make a proposal, put it toward the community. If they voted yes, suddenly you're getting paid for the work you're doing. So
Right.
It allows anyone to get involved for the lifetime. So it actually allows the second and third and fourth and fifth generation to actually contribute and get something back for their effort.
So Evan, as I'm sure you know, there's a huge debate going on in the Bitcoin community, and it's almost gotten, it's beyond technical now. Now it's really ideological, it seems. How do you feel, as someone with a deep interest in cryptocurrency, and as a programmer, what do you think is going on, and what do you think should happen?
And, I see it from both sides, and I think the issue is that there's some merit to both of their arguments. On the one hand, if you increase the block size, the full nodes suffer because they're not being incentivized like they are in Dash. And that means that the people running the full nodes will have to pay for the extra bandwidth. And also, like syncing will require a lot more time. And there's other issues of a technical nature with that. But if you don't increase it and they implement Lightning, then suddenly you can do most of the transactions off of the chain, and then you can just commit them as needed later on, which is also another solution. And I actually prefer that solution because it keeps the full nodes happy and it keeps the blockchain smaller. So, I do see it from both perspectives, but I think I would prefer if I were developing the Bitcoin project to keep it at a smaller size. Maybe not 1 megabyte, but something something in between.
Well, it seems like there has come some sort of consensus around an initial increase to 8 megabytes and then some kind of incremental increase. I think I agree with you that both sides tend to be able to prove their point, and that's kind of what brings it to an ideological level. It seems like the countering side, they're not willing to make any compromise. Meanwhile, it should be mentioned anytime this is being discussed that the miners themselves are in the end the ones that have the authority. They don't have to mine blocks with any transactions if they don't want to. So I think that should also be brought up. So you said that in the Dash protocol, the full nodes actually receive part of the mining reward. Is that right?
Yeah. So in the Dash project, if we wanted to increase the block size, the full nodes would actually be compensated for the traffic. So we wouldn't actually lose the full nodes like the Bitcoin project would.
Right. So I think that's a really good answer to the question, and maybe even a good contribution to the debate. Not that you intended to do that. Well, so suppose someone was just coming to Dash. What would be your biggest advice to them as far as getting involved at this time?
Anyone can get involved. You just head over to dashtalk.org and check us out, or head to the main website is dashpay.io. You can help developing if you want. You could help with any of the initiatives. We have about 50 volunteers currently working on it at any given time. So, the more the merrier.
So what's next for Dash? I mean, pretty much you guys continually, I think, impress many of us. The instant transactions. That's a very interesting thing. Meanwhile, in Bitcoin, we're arguing over fitting enough transactions into a block and whether transactions should be free and on and on. And now you've got a system that basically subverts any need for a central authority and also for the funding of the Dash development. So I mean, what do you do when you've conquered the whole world?
Well, the next goal would be to use the budgeting system to advertise and to show the world what we've created, to try to make this a real competitor to the Bitcoin project, and give the space some competition. The last thing that I want to see is the Bitcoin developers make some tragic mistake, and then all of crypto is not trusted for the next 15 years. But if there's two projects at least, and one of them is okay and the other one fails, then we're not going to have that situation. And that's the main goal here.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Evan, thank you for your time today. And I look forward to seeing what Dash does next. How can people get in touch with you?
You can reach me personally at evan@dashpay.io, or you can reach any of the team members. Just head over to the dashpay.io website, and there's a team page.
Well, thank you and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, before I go, I wanted to share with you the song Detonate by the Bitcoin-friendly Toronto, Canada-based band 22 Hertz. Check them out at 22hertz.com. That's 22, the numbers, HERTZ.com.
Detonate. Let it all detonate. You had to let it all detonate. You bring me to my knees from this
Thanks again for tuning into this 10th episode of the CCN podcast. As always, I'm your loyal host, Paul Medore. If you've got any requests or comments, feel free to send them to me directly. paul.medore, Madore, at cryptocoinsnews.com. This podcast is released every Friday, and we're always looking for fresh ideas on what to do with this brief presentation. For the most up-to-date cryptocurrency news, always check ccn.la first. For more information about myself, feel free to visit me at phm.link. Have a dashing weekend. Okay, that was a bad joke. So have a great weekend then, and thanks again, folks.